Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at two charting and analysis platforms, Finviz and StockCharts.com. These are actually pretty different platforms, I think, with different strengths and weaknesses, and they can actually complement each other really well. So I'm going to take a closer look at Finviz and StockCharts and help you decide which of these platforms is right for you and whether you should be using them together. So I first want to dive into Finviz. So here you can see the main Finviz dashboard. It gives you charts of the major indices. You can see specific tickers that have bullish and bearish signals. There's a heat map showing the biggest stocks in the S&P 500 and how they're performing today. And then just a brief coverage of headlines, insider trading, how major tickers are performing, and more. So I want to start with charting, which honestly I don't think is Finviz's strength, but it's important if you're looking for a charting platform, especially in a comparison with StockCharts.com. So this is Finviz's charting platform. You can see we have a basic candlestick chart. There are a few different charting options, including hollow candles, open high, low close, and Heikin-Ashi charts, but there's not a ton of different options here. We've got a suite of drawing tools that we can use, although this will open up the chart in a whole other platform, so it's only so interactive. You've got a variety of different time frames down to 1 minute, up to 1 month, and you can also customize that range. And then if you want to add technical indicators or customize the indicators that are on the chart currently, you actually have to go into the chart settings, which is unusual. Most charting platforms have a dedicated indicator platform. Finviz doesn't. You can pretty quickly change any of the indicators or overlays that you have on your chart. It does come with quite a few options, but not as many as you'd expect. There's about 20 to 25 of the most popular indicators and overlays in this platform. But you're not going to get that list of like 200 plus indicators that you do with something like TradingView or even StockCharts.com. One thing I do like about Finviz is that you can pretty quickly add financial metrics to your charts. So it's a really good platform if you're interested in charting specific financial or valuation metrics alongside price changes. You can see here, you can customize the timeframes for these various indicators, but there's not a lot of options. So again, this is maybe not the most advanced charting platform out there, but it is a decent charting platform if you're mostly focused on major and common indicators. Something I do like about the stock analysis with this charting in Finviz is that if you scroll down, you get a whole lot more information about the company you're looking at. So there's this table with all sorts of information about the company's fundamentals, its performance over various timeframes. And then if you keep scrolling, there's information about earnings per share growth, analyst ratings, news, and then keep going. And there's insider trades. There's a cash flow and balance statement sheet here, insider trading volume, and then actual specific insider trades. So I really like having all of this information about a stock in a single window. You don't have to click through a bunch of different menus. It's easy to get all of this holistic information about a specific company from Finviz on a single page. So that's the company-specific analysis in Finviz. Where I think this platform really stands out is with its stock screener. This is one of the best and just easiest to use stock screeners out there, I think, and it's available completely free. You don't need a paid subscription to Finviz to use it. So here you can see they've divided up the screening filters into descriptive, fundamental, technical, news, ETF, which is obviously ETF specific. And then you can just hit all, and it'll bring up all of those filters in a single screen. So you can see there's a ton of different options here. And I actually really like that you can just sort of pick a drop down. So there's different ranges for each of these indicators. And then you can actually customize them if you want. So you have kind of that quick filtering capability, but you can also dive in and build your own custom filters if you want. The other thing that's nice about this is that you can intersect these custom filters with Finviz's built-in filters. So you can look at signals like top gainers and losers, stocks hitting new highs or lows, stocks with unusually high or low volume, and more. You can also filter based on specific tickers or watch lists, which is really nice. Now, what I love the most here is when you come down to the results, there's a bunch of different ways to look at it. So there's this overview view here, which just shows you kind of basic information about the company. But let's say I'm a value investor and I'm interested in finding stocks that offer a good value opportunity right now. I can use this pre-made valuation view, and now I'm looking at price to earnings ratio, price to sales, price to book, and all of this really relevant information. The same if I'm interested in technical opportunities and entry points. I can look at a list of moving averages, highs and lows, relative strength index, and change from open. So really nice way to do that again. And also, there's this technical analysis view here. So this allows you to look at each ticker in your filter results as miniature charts with a technical analysis already conducted on those charts. So here we're looking at a few moving averages and trend lines. For each of these, we're getting information about the average true range, moving averages, highs and lows, and more on the right over here. This is a really cool way to just quickly scroll through these charts and look for opportunities that match your particular strategy. You can also customize the analysis that's done on these charts, change the time frame, and more. So there's a lot of customizability here. So like I said, I think the screener is the best feature in Finviz, and it's totally free, which is why I think this platform complements really well with stockcharts.com, as well as a lot of other platforms. That said, I do want to show you a couple of the other features in Finviz real quick. So one of my favorite here is if you go to this maps button here, there's a heat map, which is sort of useful. I really don't use this very much, to be honest, but what I do use are the bubble maps. So this allows you to change your x-axis, y-axis, the colors of the bubbles, and then also the size of the bubbles. So you're getting 4 different factors on a single chart. So this is a really cool way to look at, say, a specific sector, and then look at percent change over the past 30 days on the y-axis versus market cap on the x-axis. And then you can size the bubbles according to price to earnings ratio, for example. And so that's maybe a way to find quickly outliers on this graph that could indicate really good value stocks or possibly overvalued stocks that, might have a bearish move ahead of them. You can limit this heat map to specific sectors, to stocks within a watch list, to just a list of tickers that you enter. So it's really flexible, and it's a really cool way to kind of tease out patterns or find stocks that maybe you want to investigate more. The other thing that Finviz does a really nice job with is looking at insider trading. So there's a whole feed for insider trades here. You can look at top 10% owners that are trading. You can look at corporate insiders as well as funds that hold stocks, and you can filter this to buy and sell transactions. So it's just a nice way to get an idea of where large institutional buying and selling action is happening in the market. Again, so you can go look at those stocks and investigate them in more detail. And then finally, another good feature within Finviz that can be really helpful is backtesting. So backtesting is super important if you've got a strategy that you want to test out. I'm just going to run this default backtest here just to show you what it looks like. And you can see we get an overview of our total return, max drawdown, Sharpe ratio, annual growth rate, and more. What I don't love about the backtesting tool here is that you can look at your returns over time and summary statistics about your backtest, but you can't ever see all of the transactions that were made as part of your backtest. So it's really hard to identify where a backtest went wrong or right. And so if you've got a strategy and you're really trying to tease out how to optimize it or whether it's going to work, Finviz's tool can be helpful, but I don't think it provides all of the data that you need in order to run a really comprehensive backtest. For that, I'd recommend something like TradingView or Trade Ideas, much stronger backtesting tools. Okay, so with that, I want to dive real quick into Finviz's pricing. Like I said, you can use the screener for free, as well as most of the features I showed you. Indicators on charts are a bit limited. You only get access to moving averages and trend lines, but you do get the ability to create custom screens, use that bubble map, use the heat maps, as well as add your own watch list to Finviz. The one catch to all of that is that the data is delayed by about 20 minutes in Finviz. So if you're going to use it for free, it's much better for active investors than for day traders or swing traders. Finviz Elite gives you access to real-time data as well as all of the features of the platform, including the backtester. And that costs $24.96 per month or $299.50 per year. You get a 7-day free trial when you create a Finviz account. So it's really easy to try out Finviz Elite and see if it's right for you. So next I want to talk about stockcharts.com. This is primarily a charting software, whereas Finviz has some charting, but I think it's really stands out for the screener. I think StockCharts stands out primarily for the charting, and the screening could be a little bit better. So again, why I think these platforms are pretty complementary. So there are a bunch of different types of charts within stockcharts.com. I'll show you a handful of them, but I'm going to start out with sort of the basic candlestick charts. There's actually two ways you can access those. The first is Sharp Charts, which gives you these really nice looking but static chart images. So this is kind of like a, early 2000s style chart you would have. It's not interactive at all. It looks really nice if you're sending a chart to someone or printing it. But I find that, at least for me, this isn't as easy to use as some of the more interactive chart styles that we have today on a lot of platforms. The nice thing is you can customize the look of this chart, all the indicators on it. All of those options are down here. Like I said, this isn't my favorite approach to charting, and I actually prefer StockChart.com's advanced charting platform, or ACP. So I'll show you that. That's more similar to something like the charts you're going to get from TradingView or most other dedicated charting platforms. And I actually have a full TradingView versus Stock Charts comparison if you're interested in seeing how these two platforms stack up. So the advanced charting platform is going to be much more interactive. As you move around the screen, you can click on the chart and change the time frame. You can zoom in and out. You can quickly adjust any of your indicators from this sidebar here. It's really easy to add indicators, and there are just a ton in stockcharts.com. Far more indicators and overlays than what you get with Finviz. The advanced charting platform also has all sorts of drawing tools. You can create chart templates. You can annotate your charts here. And you can actually have layouts with multiple charts, so you can compare different time frames or different tickers side by side. It's just a much more flexible and comprehensive charting interface than what you're getting with Finviz. The other thing I like about this interface is that the sidebar here gives you access to all sorts of other tools. So you can have chart lists, which are essentially watch lists in stockcharts.com. You can pull up a scan here without leaving your charts. You can monitor alerts, which I'll show you more in a minute. There's a market summary platform, allows you to keep an eye on all the major indices while you're looking at a chart. And then there's market movers. These sort of ideas, these SCTRs are top ranked stocks by stockcharts.com. I would love to see these more integrated into the platform, but you can learn more about that in my stockcharts.com review. And it's also worth noting that stockcharts.com supports a integration with Tradier, so you can trade directly from your charts in stockcharts.com. That's something that's not possible at all in Finviz. Now, in addition to these kind of standard candlestick charts and technical analysis charts, StockCharts.com has a bunch of other chart styles. So one that people might like, I'm not a big user, but point and figure charts. These are really well done within StockCharts.com. They're easy to look at. They're highly customizable. You can add trend lines. You can scale the charts according to your needs. You can change the time frame. So it's just a really nice implementation of these point and figure charts if you're a fan of those. The other thing that's nice is this gallery view. This allows you to look at a single ticker over multiple time frames, so intraday, daily, weekly, and monthly, weekly and point and figure. Again, really nice. Or in that advanced charting platform, you can set up a multi-chart layout and look at those side by side. There's seasonality charts, so helpful for looking at which month or time of year particular symbols tend to perform the best. There's market carpets, which are essentially heat maps. This is going to be similar to the heat maps in Finviz. You can, color your charts by their, percent change, size them by market cap or price, things like that. And you can also use this with a couple different technical indicators, which is something that you can't do in Finviz. One thing that I will note is that StockCharts.com doesn't have those bubble charts that I really like in Finviz. So you are relying on these other chart types to find ideas within StockCharts.com. And I think one of the best for that is this RRG, or relative rotational graph chart, which allows you to plot momentum over time for various tickers. So just to give you an idea of how this works, we'll look at this CDNX ticker here in green. So you can see that it has relatively strong momentum. It's in this top right corner, and that its momentum is improving over time as we go up. kind of up and right is the most momentum and accelerating momentum. And you can see it starts here and momentum's getting stronger, but then as time goes on, the momentum's starting to weaken and it's decelerating. So this is a really cool chart for finding momentum plays in the market. It's really customizable based on different look back periods, different time frames, and different sectors or groups of stocks. I said at the beginning of my review here that I don't love the scanning tools within StockCharts.com, and it's not because they're not powerful, it's because they're a little bit hard to use. So this is the scan workbench in StockCharts.com, and you can see that it kind of looks like a coding interface, and it kind of is. You have to actually use StockCharts.com's custom coding language here to build scans. There's kind of a cheat sheet here. For example, if you want to add a filter based on a specific technical indicator like MACD signal, you can pick that from the drop down there and add it, and it will set up a default filter for you. But then you have to go into the code and actually customize that to your needs. And so there's good documentation around how to use this coding language, but it's just a really big barrier if you want to set up scans quickly. There's a really big upfront investment involved to create a set of scans that you can use for StockCharts.com. That said, the fact that it is a coding language makes it far more flexible than what you're getting with Finviz, so there's ups and downs to this. It's also worth noting that the alerts in StockCharts.com use the same format, so you can set up basic price alerts, but if you want to create any more advanced alerts based on technical indicators or anything like that, you can, which is great. That's not possible in Finviz, but you're going to have to use this coding language again. So, for example, if we want to create a alert based on a moving average, we need to go in and actually customize that code. So again, there's a really big upfront investment to learn this coding language for StockCharts.com. Once you do, it does become really flexible, much more so than Finviz. Okay, so now I want to take a quick look at how much StockCharts.com costs. There are 3 plans here: Basic, Extra, and Pro. Basic's going to start at just under $20 per month and give you access to most of the platform's features, including up to 25 indicators and overlays per chart, one multi-chart layout that you can save, custom scans, a couple price alerts, and more. The extra plan is going to be $29.95 per month, and basically it gives you access to more watch lists, more multi-chart layouts, more price alerts, more save scans, and more technical alerts. The Pro plan, $49.95 per month. Again, you're getting more of all of this scanning and alert capabilities. And the other thing it's going to do is give you historical price data from, instead of 1980 with the other plans, you're going to get data all the way back to 1900. Most traders aren't going to need that, so I think most traders are going to be okay with this basic plan for $19.96 per month. And you can upgrade to extra if you find yourself being limited by the number of chart layouts or watch lists or alerts that you have within StockCharts.com. It's also worth pointing out StockCharts.com has a 30-day free trial, so you can test out the software for yourself and see how you like it before you commit to a plan. Overall, I like aspects of Finviz and I like aspects of StockCharts.com, but I don't think for me, either of them are kind of the do-it-all trading platform or charting and analysis platform that I want them to be. Finviz, I think, does a really great job with its screener. And if you can live with delayed data, that's available completely free, especially for active investors. It's just so easy to use. And I love having those different views in the results, particularly being able to look at miniature charts with technical analysis on them to find opportunities throughout the day. That said, Finviz's regular charting and technical analysis capabilities aren't the most flexible. I definitely look to something like StockCharts.com or really even TradingView if I'm interested in a more dedicated technical analysis platform. For StockCharts.com, I think the charts do a nice job and they're really easy to look at. I like having all of the different chart types. Those relative rotational graphs that I showed you are really cool for finding momentum opportunities. The advanced charting platform does a nice job of giving you access to indicators and all that. For me, I just have a hard time choosing StockCharts.com over an alternative trading platform like TradingView or Thinkorswim or even TC2000. I've got reviews on each of those so you can learn more about them, but each of them give you more flexibility, a little bit more interactivity in the charts, and I think they just do a better job of being dedicated charting platforms, whereas StockCharts.com is trying to give you a whole menu of different charting options, whereas a lot of the time I just want really good technical charts, and I only need one kind of them. If you are interested in Finviz and StockCharts.com, I think that using them together is a really powerful combination. You can use Finviz's screener and fundamental data to find tickers that you're interested in researching more. Then use StockCharts.com's technical charts and momentum graphs and more to actually find entry opportunities into those stocks. Both platforms offer free trials, so you can test them out and actually test using them together. And I have full video reviews of Finviz and StockCharts.com if you want to learn more about either platform.